All right. Hello, everyone. We've got Joy again from the Fluoride Free Alliance UK, and we're going to be doing a bit of an update on where we're at with fluoride being rolled out in the UK and how we're going to stop it and what everybody can do, take steps to prevent this because we really don't need it in our water supply at all. And I'm quite confident there's going to be enough of an awareness and a backlash to this that it won't happen, but there'll certainly be a bit of a battle. I can see that coming. So, Joy, would you like to give us a bit of an update on where we're at?
Okay, so today is the 22nd, and tonight is the first attempt to read the third reading of the Health and Care Bill. After it's been gone through Public Bill Committee, the two clauses of interest to us are clauses 132 and 133, and they have not been amended, which is unfortunate because that means that they're still likely to be passed into law when it becomes an act. Excuse me a moment. Sorry. Coffee. Very disappointing. We submitted to the Select Committee under Jeremy Hunt back in March. We've sent a brief to all the MPs in the Houses of Parliament, not the House of Lords yet, to give them a background into why it's a thoroughly bad idea and given them lots of legal reasons as well. I didn't expect to get any sensible replies from anybody, but hopefully by now they'll have read the brief and they'll be taking that into account when they start debating the bill tonight in the House of Commons.
So what were some of the legal reasons he said to them?
Oh, with about 6 or 7 different laws which fluoridation will be violating, simply because fluoridated water, or rather the fluoride added to the water, is a medicine.
Mm-hmm.
And that converts the drinking water into a medicinal liquid. Now we have an admission in the British Standard that fluoride is added to drinking water to increase the resistance of consumers to dental decay. It is not water treatment, despite the stupid title of the British Standard, which says that it is for treatment of water for human consumption, but it's completely untrue. It's the sentence in the annex at the back of the British Standard which gives the game away. It is there to treat people. It is to increase resistance to dental decay. Therefore, being a medicine, it's not drinking water. It doesn't comply with the Drinking Water Directive and the water quality standards. And people who are drinking fluoridated water are not protected under law if they die of contamination. Now, we've got a case in point here in Cumbria, West Cumbria, which is fluoridated. They switched the consumers over to borehole water, which has been making everybody ill. Now, the Drinking Water Inspectorate doesn't seem to want to know because, as far as we can see, it's not their responsibility. Drinking Water Inspectorate's only interested in drinking water, not in medicinal liquid.
I see. Yeah.
Right? So people aren't protected at all under law. Now, there's a few other laws, which is like product substitution. Whereas if you think you're getting drinking water and you have been hoping to get drinking water all these years, and then you suddenly find out that you're not getting drinking water, that's illegal because nobody told you that it was no longer drinking water. It's rather like, it's rather like ordering groceries from a supermarket. You say, I want a pack of buns, for example, hot cross buns. And when the thing's delivered, you don't get your hot cross buns, you've got Eccles cakes instead. And you paid for buns. Now you can say, I want to send these Eccles cakes back because I don't want them. Please give me my money back. You can do that easily. When it comes to drinking water, you can't send it back when it's medicinal liquid. So, that's part of the bargain, isn't it? When you've got something you don't want, you send it back. You can't send it back. So that's another thing that's really, really annoying you. It's ridiculous. Yeah. And because it's a medicine, it is not medically authorized by the Medicines Healthcare Regulatory Products Agency, the MHRA. which is not exactly an organization which is in my good books. I believe it's being subsidized by Bill Gates.
Oh, all right. Oh dear.
Mm-hmm.
It's a
Bad
lovely,
news. It's a
trusting
government.
chap.
I know it's a government agency. It has no business receiving money from Bill Gates, and of course the World Health Organization is behind it as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've
But
got a whole list of.
wait, hold on. Just before we move on there, so you're talking about, there's the legal thing about receiving. We think you're receiving drinking water, but you're not. You're receiving a medicine. Who would actually be liable then at that point? Who would you go after legally?
Yeah, I think the water companies are liable. They've been told to do it, but so were the Wehrmacht and the Gestapo told to do what they did in the Nuremberg trials. When they tried to say we're innocent, we were told to do it. They could have refused.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't have to kill all those people and do medical experiments on them, but they did, and they hung for their pains, as it were. Right. Water companies are told to do it, but they shouldn't be, because it's violating their own, how can I say, technical training. They're there to provide us with pure, potable drinking water. Their business is not to put in a medicine.
Yes. Even if it's a bit of a weird, even calling it a medicine sounds so wrong. It's like so toxic to the body. But yeah, I know where you're going with the terminology. But
well, most big pharma drugs are toxic to the body, aren't they?
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
Yes, there are other laws. I can actually produce a list and we can pin it to the top of Telegram channel.
That's a good idea. Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah. In fact, I can also make the briefing I sent to the MPs available on UK FFFA website.
Mm-hmm. That'd also be a good idea. People can go there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So what else did you have to cover here? Get my notes.
Right. So you're going to say the people who want to fight this, and I think we're going to have a fight on our hands, and we do all need to get active. There are quite a few tactics we can look at, and the one we've already talked about is signing that petition, which is about 36,000 now. We want to get it up to 100,000. That's really important for people to sign it and share it. Anybody new on this channel who hasn't actually seen it, please do it. It's really important. And we've got to really email our MPs and tell them we don't want to be fluoridated. Until they hear from people as individuals, they will think there's nothing wrong. They can get away with it. And some of them are trying to get away with it. I've got a list of 5 MPs who took part in a debate in the House of Commons in May. And one of them is an MP for the Isle of Wight, who was actually offered his island to be a guinea pig for the new schemes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awful. How could he do that?
But what did he say? Did he agree to it?
Oh yes, he wants to. He wants to try it on the Isle of Wight because it's a perfect place. It's one water company, one local authority, and one population. There'll be no problem with coterminous water supplies going across borders and things like that. That's great, isn't it? If people don't want to be fluoridated, all they have to do is just put a hose pipe into the sea instead of down the drain. No, it's disgusting. This guy has decided for his own constituents, he wants the island to be fluoridated. Wow, how nice of him. And he hasn't even taken into consideration that there has to be a public consultation. But we don't have any great faith in the public consultations, because no matter how much information you give back to the Department of Health to tell them that you don't want it, and these are the reasons, they will still go ahead because Granny knows best.
So then, with the last video we did, we talked about some of the successes that were achieved throughout, the decades of fighting back against this. Can you give like an example of how actually they did it, if you've got one? Like, how did they achieve victory?
Rotherham was a very good one for the National Pure Water Association. They attended the scrutiny. They gave a really good report to the scrutiny committee. It has to be said, the scrutiny people didn't really want to fluoridate in the first place. And they said, thank you very much. And then a few weeks later, they said, we're not going ahead with it. what happens is we don't actually get credit for our hard work, but we do actually know what we've done has been effective. The
I can
Wakefield,
relate to that, yes.
yeah, the Wakefield one, yes, the Wakefield scrutiny was also very good. We attended, we did exactly what they wanted us to do, which was to provide recent research against fluoridation. We couldn't provide any in favor because there isn't any. The pro-fluoridationists do not have the wherewithal to produce research which says that it works effectively. Oh, they can do the oral health surveys. They can show us how some places have less dental decay because they're fluoridated, but it's not consistent. And also we find that the number of children examined is below the magic 250 per area. And if below that, any results are not statistically significant. Anyway, for Wakefield, we came away feeling cock-a-hoop, and it was really good. And the Public Health England guy was looking very sorry for himself when we saw his photograph a few weeks later. But that was good. We just have to keep plugging away. We have to have a groundswell of opinion. We have to get the media on our side, especially the local media. And we have to be honest. We have to be polite. We have to be not looking cranky or nutting or nutty, as it were. We have to be really very, very verbal and very, very straight with people. It has to be good information, simple information, because you start using long words, people do tend to turn off, unfortunately. And because it's slightly sort of to do with chemistry, you've got to be really careful. So it's plug away, really, and make sure your facts are right. And you can't be caught out by telling fibs, because that wouldn't work at all.
Yeah, absolutely. So it seems like it's going to be a battle that's fought sort of with pen and paper in meetings and local councils, and interesting. And if there is some grounds for legal, standing against this, that should be very, very helpful. So
we've got one law which says you can do it, which is the Water Industry Act 1991, section 87, I think. And several laws which say this sort of thing is not permitted, but it doesn't specifically say that water fluoridation is not permitted. But we've got lots of laws which say you can't do that sort of thing. You can't give people compulsory medicine, for example, because that's against the human rights. About the Nuremberg Code comes into play here. People don't realize, even though it's been in our drinking water since 1964, it is still an experiment. There's been no really sound research into its safety. Everyone assumes it's safe, but we have other research which says it isn't. And there's no research which says it is. And that's the important thing to get across to people. It's an experiment. There's no research to say it's safe. We have Public Health England who couldn't even find any research when we asked them with a freedom of information request. They couldn't find anything at all. And they wrote back and said, we do not hold this information. Which means, and also we got Health Canada, exactly the same situation a few years earlier. Freedom of information, couldn't provide anything to prove that it was safe to drink.
There we are. Well, yeah, so it's up to anyone who's aware of it right now. We've got to spread the message, get the knowledge out there, and get people on board, because it's something that will affect the whole country. Like you said, there is some parts of England that already are fluoridated artificially, but the vast majority isn't, and we really, really don't need it. So that's where we come into play. And so then you see people that want to take action, they can, the what you just mentioned, getting the basic knowledge to at least inform others and be solid in your facts. So if you ever are challenged by anyone, you can just sort of lay it down for them and say, hey, no, this is a bad idea. And then obviously they're signing the petition. There is emailing the MPs, and as well, you had a reply to the email's reply. Was that right? Because they sort of generally tend to send quite a generic reply.
Yes, unfortunately, there's obviously, I know there is a department in the Department of Health, probably Richmond House, which is dedicated to water fluoridation issues. So they've been churning out these letters saying, it's safe and effective, and it's good for teeth. But that's not the answer we want from our MPs. We want our MPs to think about what they're doing. what they're agreeing to. They're there to represent us, not to medicate us. So the first thing is get your basic knowledge sorted out. Use simple terms. Don't go into real strong science, because it won't work. It'll always rebound, because if somebody says, well, in which way does it harm us? And you can say, well, it kills enzymes, and it disrupts the endocrine system, like the thyroid gland. You can do that easily. And also it reduces a baby's intelligence if they're fed with formula made up with fluoridated tap water. And those are the three main things we want to get across. And of course, the unborn child is bathing in fluoride, in the amniotic fluid, as well as it going into the body. And that's reducing the intelligence. Those are the simple facts, the reasons why we don't want it, as well as it being a violation of our human rights. We are not supposed to be given a compulsory medicine, and we can prove it's a medicine. There's no two ways about it. So that's the first thing, get basic knowledge. Sign a petition, email your MPs, and don't give up. If they write back a bland letter, say, that's not what I asked. I wanted you to find out for yourself the truth about this. Just keep on at them, and they'll wear them down, hopefully, one day. I think you've got the Telegram local groups started. Yes. So we need to people those. We need far more than 2 or 3. We need lots of people in each area. That'd be good if we could do that. So anybody who's going to be listening to this on the Telegram channel, please sign in to a local group and get active locally.
And if there isn't one that we've got, you let us know, we'll create it.
That's a good idea, yes, indeed. Now, the further action we can take is, once we know we're being fluoridated or going to be fluoridated, and the final decision has been made by the Department of Health, not by the local authorities, we have stop paying your drinking water charges. And I don't mean stop paying for your sewage, because it's good to have your sewage removed, but it's best to try and reduce what you're paying by half. And that's about right, 50% sewage, 50% drinking water. Stop paying. We've got a letter prepared for you to do that. We don't have to go into eulogies, just keep it sweet and simple, and just don't give in. And you will not be taken to court, because water companies can't afford the publicity. They just won't do it. And they can't make you pay, and they can't switch you off, and they can't reduce the pressure to make you pay. And they'll send perhaps bailiffs to you, but they don't have the right to come into the house. And that one I've been dealing with a few months ago, they gave up after 3 letters.
So how long have you...
this is my 2nd year.
There we are, nice.
And up to Severn Trent. So my letter is based on Severn Trent experience, but it'll be the same for all the other privatized water companies. Just don't give in, and don't worry. They're not going to come knocking at your door. They're not going to break in. They're not going to steal your car or anything like that. They can't do that. They do not want the publicity. Right? So that's the one important thing. Get yourself a reverse osmosis filtration system, because that wastes 3 liters of water for every liter of water you drink. We call it product water. So the membrane and the filters, rather the membrane is washed out by the fluoridated tap water, so it lasts longer, and all that water goes down the drain. And I tell you, my drain outside my kitchen window is beautifully clean. It hasn't got any gunge in it at all, because I would imagine all the chlorine and the fluoride is killing all the bacteria. I don't know that for sure, but hey, 3 liters wasted, 1 liter drunk. Water companies don't want that. They're going to, they're really, especially down the southeast, they're really trying to get as much water as possible for the increase in population. So they don't want it. So, we can actually say to the water company, okay, reverse osmosis, sue me, take me to court. They won't do it, because there's another law which says you shouldn't be able to interfere with the mains coming into the house, right? So it's a push fit attachment to the mains coming into the house. So you are interfering. So you're breaking the law. So what? I'm protecting my health by doing this. Take me to court. And you might get a precedent. Anyway, that's one thing to think about. And then I thought, it's a whimsical thing. I think it's a rather good idea. If push comes to shove, get along the local newspaper, stick a hose pipe down the drain, attach it to your coat tap, and turn the tap on, and then just wait for the reporter and the photographer to take a few photographs and ask you some questions. Yeah, you're wasting water, but you're not going to drink it, are you? Why would you want to drink it? It's rubbish. It's poison.
Yeah, just send it down the drain.
And the other thing is basically posters in living room windows, which are looking out on the street, especially if they're a terraced house with no front garden. They're very effective. And obviously try and get one on your car if you can, if you have one. Key fobs, not so good, but stickers. Yeah, stickers any way you can put them.
Yeah, and also we have the leaflet now as well that's just available for pre-order. So yeah, these local little actions can really help, which is why it's great to have like a local community, which is where the local groups come in. Yeah. I really like the idea of posters actually. Oh, did you have something there to show us?
I do. This is being put on cafe tables.
Aha.
So that people can do the QR code and sign the petition immediately. It's laminated, won't get dirty. And if you've got a friendly cafe owner who's happy to have that happen, that's fine. We can make them and distribute them.
And how would people get in touch to do that? Just through your website?
Well, by the channel, Telegram channel.
Yeah, just send a message. Yeah,
or the website. Or the website, because we have a contact email there as well.
Yeah, because this video will go in a few different places. So. Cool. Well, yeah, that looks like a good idea.
I just hope we could think of some more things. Well, we don't have somebody on board at the moment who's very good, very, very, very switched on with all the publicity you can manage. I mean, being on Telegram is brilliant because we've increased knowledge of the issue no end because of the people who've come onto the channel, which is really good. But we need lots of people with skills, computer skills, PR skills, media skills. Yeah, we need them all.
Yeah, so if you are anyone listening and you have any of these kind of skills and you want to help out, definitely get in touch. That'd be really useful. Cool. All right, so that was a pretty good, well-rounded update. Is there anything else you wanted to add on to tell the community at the end here?
Well, yes, so thanks very much for joining the community. It's really great to have you all on board. Keep the questions coming because how can I say, it tells me exactly how to be succinct to make things short, although I do go into realms of writing sometimes, but I'll try and keep it brief and not bamboozle anybody. But it's great to have you all on board.
Absolutely. And I'm finally, I think I got a hexafluoride, oh no, nearly. Hexafluorosilicic acid.
Hexafluorosilicic acid.
Hexafluorosilicic acid. There we go. I got that. Great.
It's easy to say fluoridating acid.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah. Well, thanks for that, Joy. And I'm sure we'll be speaking again soon.
Okay, thank you very much, Travis. Okay, see you.
See ya.